Good morning, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is 3 o'clock. It is time for the Michael Lessick Live Hour. This is our first stream for a couple of weeks, and I hope you're doing good. Let's see who we've got here on the stream already. Grey Elephant Club is here from Cleveland, Ohio. Raymond from Baltimore is here too. Bo is here from Cincinnati, and Teddy from Texas. So yeah, if you can see and hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that everything's working good. Technical issues, I think, are largely resolved finally. So we should have a good, clear stream today. Let me pull up my screen here, and we will shortly get into it. Here we go. Easy idea generation methods is our subject today. So that's what we're going to be doing. Ray is here. Ray Cunningham is here. Sheila, hello to you. Soul Visible is here. Good afternoon. Kia from NYC. Sheila says fine. Ninja from Russia. Bo looking and sounding good. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Kathleen from Gloomy NYC. Richie from Long Island, New York. And hello to BNA too. Wonderful to have so many of you joining me live. That's great. Yeah, like I said, last couple of weeks we had technical issues. My laptop was causing me all kinds of problems, but I think I've largely solved it all now. So we are good, and we will get into it right away. So yeah, what we're going to talk about today, easy idea generation methods. And I think I've got 3 to share with you. Is that what I've got? 3, I think. 3 easy idea generation methods. So if this is your first time here, maybe you could drop us a like, a subscribe if you're on the YouTube. That would be great. Really helpful to have your support in that way. Hannah from Finland is here. Good to see you. Ian from Atlanta, and Dina says hello. Laura is here from Hershey, PA, USA. And Sue from Achille, Wisconsin. Cool. Yeah, so like and subscribe. That would be awesome. And today's plan is 3 easy idea generation methods. So we're going to be looking at some ways I generate ideas, come up with some funny and unique ideas using a couple of step-by-step methods that you can use as well. And I'll walk you through each of those today. That's what we're going to be talking about. But of course, feel free to ask questions, and in the comments on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching, I will take questions as we go. So feel free to just throw them at me. Don't be worried about interrupting me or whatever. Ask questions all the way through. As a quick reminder of who this is really for, this is for artists, designers, graphic designers, illustrators, and people who are looking to create work to be sold on platforms like Redbubble, Merch by Amazon. Maybe you have your own Shopify store. Maybe you're selling on Etsy. But really, you're creating work, you're creating designs to be sold on products. So this is not really for fine artists and people doing, fine art paintings and oil paintings and stuff like that. But if you're an artist who's creating original designs and you've got an Instagram, you're trying to grow your brand, you're trying to sell things like T-shirts and posters and mugs, then this is for you. This is designed to help you come up with original ideas. That's really what my focus has been on for the past few years, coming up with original, unique ideas, selling those through these channels, building up a decent and sustainable business through these platforms using original ideas and coming up with original stuff. So that's the direction we're traveling in today. Hope that makes sense. And yeah, thanks for joining us. So before we get started here, Mike is here from Ontario. Pierre is here. Hello to you. And Christopher is here. Hello to you. Just Bella from North Carolina, I think. And David is here too. Cool. All right. So should we just get into it? I mean, I don't really have anything. I was going to kind of do a, general update, but I don't have much to update you all on anyway. So why don't we just dive into it? And I will keep an eye on the comments. And you guys can keep me posted on there if anything goes wrong or if you've got any questions or anything. Sharon is here too. Hello to you. So let's look first at this. So we got 3. These are 3 idea generation methods. Maybe I should just give a little bit of context. My business has been built on the back of ideas. I really think it's the ability to come up with ideas which gives you the edge when it comes to trends and topics for spotting opportunities. If you have some kind of methods and stuff that you apply that help you come up with original ideas, then you can point those methods at any subject, at any topic. It could be your own brand, it could be a trend that's just happened, it could be a joke, it could be I don't know, it could be an evergreen subject, a topic, a hobby, a niche, whatever it is that you're going after. If you've got some methods and some ways to come up with original ideas, I've found that they are pretty universal once you've understood those skills. Like any skill, you can apply it wherever once you've learned it. So I began cataloging these methods, these techniques, and these frameworks and stuff. And over the years, I've seen them work, in almost all kind of niches and markets and stuff. So I started putting together, step by steps and writing about them on my blog, and put together a book, the Little Book of T-shirt Ideas, which has several of them in there. So that's what this is. I'm going to teach you 3 of these methods, really simple ones, that you can use to come up with ideas for whatever your niche or your market is. It doesn't matter if it's a trend that's about to happen today or tomorrow or next week or next year. These are universally applicable methods. They work great for things like T-shirts, and as we'll see, for some other products as well. So yeah, that's the plan. I'll walk you through each of these one, starting here with this framework. I call it the X-Gang method, I guess you could call it, or you could call it a template or something like that. So some examples of this method in action. X-Gang really means a design which identifies the wearer as part of a club or belonging to a gang. So something like Girl Gang, that's a really simple one. Let me make this a bit bigger here so you guys can see. Girl Gang, really simple example, but identifies the person wearing it as a member of a club or a gang or something like that. Strong Girls Club. Again, we've got Strong Girls Club. Okay, it's not using the word gang, but that's illustrative. What we're looking for is teams, clubs, gangs, any kind of membership group or tribe or niche or whatever you might call it. These are designs and ideas around that concept. So Strong Girls Club is another one. And one I just stumbled across, Sober Saturdays Coffee Club. So again, this is an X-Gang design. It's identifying the wearer as part of a club. So we got club, we got gang, we got club, we've got Save the Clock Tower, Hill Valley Preservation Society. So again, this is a, society is a club, is a gang, is a group of people getting together. This one obviously inspired by Back to the Future. And I should say, these are all just examples to illustrate the point. These are not recommendations of designs you copy or anything like that. And this one, Hawkins Middle School AV Club. So again, this concept of people wearing designs that identify them as part of a club is very well established, and it's perfect for T-shirts. It works well. People understand what you're trying to do, the message that's being communicated. So it's a great framework to use, and you can apply it to almost any niche or market. You can apply this to a hobby. You can apply this to an interest group. You can apply this to religion, whatever it might be. Politics. This works in every area you can think of. So how do we go beyond just the really simple, hey, I want to do a T-shirt about Bitcoin, so I'm going to do Bitcoin Gang. Okay, well that's a better idea. That's a better design than just writing Bitcoin on a T-shirt or something really dead simple like that. But how do we take it a step further and do something that's a little bit more developed and more likely to really engage people and catch people's attention, and yeah, really something that kind of rolls off the tongue and maybe creates a design that's likely to get shared and liked and generate good engagement and responses, whether that's buyers or whether that's on Instagram or whatever. So there's a few things you can do. One of the ways I often gravitate towards is alliteration. So I'll walk you through how this would work step by step. So first step would be you start with your topic. So what you want to do is outline your topic and just kind of get some associated words down. So if your topic is Bitcoin, maybe you might be listing out things like cryptocurrency and Dogecoin, or I don't know, to the moon, or Elon Musk, or whatever. You're just going to list out some ideas and some words that are associated with your topic, so that you're giving yourself a kind of little kind of seed bed of potential potential words to work with. And then once you've got that list, and maybe you've got that list on screen, or you've written it down by hand or whatever, then you want to go to a site where you can see some synonyms for a word like gang. So here I've given a URL of just thesaurus, and we're looking here at synonyms for the word gang. So you can see here we've got band, bunch, clan, clique, company, crew, organization. These are all words that mean the same thing as gang, or that have a very strong similarity to it. So what you would do then is you've got your list of words, you've got now a list of synonyms, and what you can do is simply run through the list looking for alliteration. So looking for where your sounds of your word and of the gang word, the synonym, would match up. So for example, if we had Bitcoin, we could go for Bitcoin band, or Bitcoin bunch, or crypto clan, or crypto clique, or crypto crew, or something like that. So you see the idea here. Once you've got a list of words, you can then run through your synonyms and just look for any places where they hook up and match. And that's a really simple way to come up with some ideas. So here's an example that I put together just to illustrate the point. Let's say your topic was gardening, very broad, probably not a great niche, probably too broad to really tackle. But just as an example, let's say it was gardening. And then let's do our list of related words. So words like flowers, plants, hoe, pots, tomatoes, veggies, dirt, cactus, succulents, landscaping, whatever. Just some random words related to gardening that might be, related to the topic. Obviously, the better you know the topic, and if you're picking a topic that you know something about, the stronger your related words will be. If you know about Bitcoin, you're going to know some specific terms and phrases that the average Joe wouldn't know. Similarly, if you're into gardening, you're going to know specific names of plants, or you're going to know about seasons, or you're going to know terms and catchphrases and whatever. So all those things are things that you'd want to include here in your list of related words. And then once you've got that, we could go down the list, like our thesaurus list for gang, and just pull out some examples. So what I pulled out was things like really obvious one, like gardening gang, flower family, or flower fam, to try and modernize that one a little bit. Plant posse, pot pack, cactus crew, succulent squad, landscapers league. You see the principle here. We're just using simple alliteration to come up with some original phrases, some original titles that we can use for our gang. And then we can simply take that and start creating a design around it. So something that looks, maybe something like some of these examples. It's going to look like a logo or a badge for a group or a band or a gang of some kind. And obviously, your niche and what kind of words you use are going to determine where you go with that one. So, you might want to have it look quite casual or something like some of these, or maybe you go for, if it's a society or it sounds a little bit more fancy, you might illustrate it like this one here. So yeah, obviously you create your design appropriate for the target market. But once you've got once we've got cactus crew, we can then start brainstorming some graphics around that and things like that. So hopefully that makes sense. That is the gang example. Oh yeah, a couple of extras here just to point out, which are worth adding. One thing that's quite popular on, badges and logos for organizations or clubs or colleges or teams or societies or things is to have things like dates, like established such and such. It gives it credibility or whatever, established 1985 or something like that. So if that's relevant to your niche or whatever you're doing, you could add a date. You could add an established such and such date, or date to date, or whatever it might be, 2001 to 2010 or something like that. Maybe if you're doing a historical one or something, you're doing I don't know, Reformation Club, and it's like 1500 and something to 1700 and whatever, or something like that. As long as it's relevant and makes sense, then you could add a date. That's something that will add an extra kind of joke, add an extra bonus to your design. Locations as well. So just like established such and such, you could have such and such a society in such and such a location, wherever that might be. So the Hill Valley Clock Tower Preservation Society, obviously linked to Hill Valley and Back to the Future, but whatever it might be for you. So depends again on the niche or on the market. But if you're doing something about I don't know, Martin Luther, then it could be Martin Luther Reformation Club, Germany, 1500 and whenever it was. So that kind of thing. And mottos as well. So I think on a few of these examples, there was a few. So this one has a little motto right down here. Not sure how well you can see that, but yeah, just adding like a little phrase, short phrase or something that would just add a little bit of extra juice, a little spark to your design to really bring the whole thing together. So you can see here we're talking all about coming up with ideas. So I'm not talking here about the actual design process and how you're going to put these together. That's really up to you. We're talking about the concept or how you're actually going to generate, what am I going to design? What am I going to put down on paper? And particularly with this example, with the X-Gang framework, it's going to be word-based. So, we're looking for an alliteration phrase or something, whether that's flower fam, pop pack, something like that. And then you can pad it out with some things like, Cactus Crew, established 2001, location, my back garden, whatever it might be. And then the little motto, don't be a prick or something like that. Something that adds a little extra joke on just for good measure. So if you've got all that together and you could be able to turn that into a nice design, this is a framework that works incredibly well, especially for trends, especially for hobbies. If you can do something that has a couple of jokes, has a couple of in-jokes in somehow, then this kind of approach, I think, is really something I call low-hanging fruit. It's a really easy framework to apply, and it's just a no-brainer. It works so well because people understand that T-shirts identifying people as part of a club are a thing, so they like to wear it, even if it's sarcastic or ironic or facetious or whatever it might be. That framework really works well. That template works well. So that's the X-Gang method. That's the first of 3 methods. I'm going to show you 2 more. But before I do, a couple of comments, questions. Paul is here. Hello to you. Nikki says, good evening from Holland. Amira, hello, good day, everyone from Georgia. Good to have you here too. Nikki says, is there TM infringement doing crypto design related? That's a good question. I think it depends on the particular coin you're dealing with. Bitcoin is not protected. There is no trademark on Bitcoin. I think, Bitcoin's almost like what's the word? Not open source, but what's the word I'm looking for when a piece of IP, goes beyond its copyright protection date and it becomes public domain. Bitcoin, for example, is like a public domain property. So yeah, but certain coins are not. There are certain coins which are part of or owned by public domain. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Aaron. Public domain. But there are certain coins which are not, and there's companies, of course, associated with Bitcoin, like Coinbase or things like that. There's even coins like Dogecoin, which is obviously around the Doge meme. Is that safe to do stuff on? Again, not 100% sure, but yeah, things like Bitcoin are safe, and some other coins, and obviously there's terms and jokes and in-jokes and things which are going to be completely safe to go at. But yeah, I think in general, crypto as a general category is perfectly safe to create designs around. It's just whether when you get into the nitty gritty of a particular organization or coin or something like that you might want to be extra careful on. Okay. Any other questions before we? No problem, Nikki. Any other questions before we rock into our next method here? I'm not seeing any, so let's go for it. The how-to framework. This one, really great for what I would call multiple level joke designs and ideas. So the X-Gang framework, the one we just looked at, pretty simple. I mean, you can do something as simple as Cactus Club with a little graphic of a cactus, make it look like a badge, and you've got a design there. I mean, you could go further and add a few extras and get a few extra laughs, but it really works as a simple design. This particular framework, this particular approach, the how-to framework, it's almost built for extra jokes, and it kind of really, because of that, it's almost like a mini comic strip or something like that that works on a t-shirt, but as you can see here, a framework that also translates well to posters. So let me show you these 3 examples and kind of explain it to you. So we've got here how to kill a zombie. And the basic framework is, you give a title to the thing. So how to X, how to do something, how to achieve a certain objective, and then you just do a couple of steps, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or however many. But you probably want to limit it, especially for t-shirt designs. So how to kill a zombie here. We've got choose your weapon, aim for the head, don't miss. So really simple, 1, 2, 3, some simple graphics. It works and works well on t-shirts, but as we can see here, also translates well in certain ways to posters and stuff. So this poster design called How to Do Laundry, and it's kind of a bit more of a, not a design that would work very well for posters. Sorry, not a design that would work very well for t-shirts because the text is quite small on a lot of this. It's far too detailed. There's a bit too much going on, but it translates well for a poster, which again is, very makes it a versatile kind of framework, which would do well. How to do the time warp. So someone's just done the kind of steps, jump to your left, take a step to your right, put your hands on your hips, and da-da-da-da-da. So just another example of the same thing, really, how to do something with a step-by-step. So that's the basic framework. That's all there is to it. You give an objective, and then you illustrate it with a few points. And as you can see, it works for T-shirts, works for posters, and if you do it right, you can create one design that works great on a t-shirt and also translates well to a poster or something like that as well. So how do we do the how-to framework how-to? How to do the how-to framework how-to? Start with your topic. So similar to what we had before, we need a topic, we need a subject, we need some starting point to begin with. And then once we've got that, we want to ask, what's an example of a goal that this audience or, the audience related to my topic might want to achieve? So, if they're gardening, maybe they want to do, I don't know, how to grow a tomato plant, how to grow a big pumpkin or something like that. So it could be something serious. It could be, a literal goal that they might want to achieve, or it could be something, funny and humorous and ironic and sarcastic or something like that. And then you want to simply draft the steps that would go into that, and then illustrate them in a simple design. So as you can see, each of these ones, we could say this one might be starting place of a topic of zombies or something like that, and then what would be a good step by step? What would be the best objective when it comes to zombies? Well, it might be how to kill a zombie. It might be how to avoid getting killed by a zombie. It might be how to survive the zombie apocalypse or whatever. So you can imagine, simply by brainstorming some ideas around your topic, you can quite quickly come up with some stories, if you like, that you can then pad out with some step-by-steps. This one, of course, kind of the time warp does itself, but how to do laundry maybe takes a bit more thought. But then the step is pretty simple. You're just going to illustrate, a few pointers. I would limit it to 5, maybe 6 max individual little squares, but the fewer the better. And just make it, very simple step-by-step design that translates well to a shirt. So that's the basic framework. A couple of extras here. There's some graphic styles which work really well for this kind of thing. For example, the IKEA instruction style, which is its own graphic style. People are familiar with what an IKEA instruction booklet looks like. There's the guy, there's the black and white, the simple illustration style, even the words and the things they use. So this one is a joke around, how to build Stonehenge with the different pieces and how to assemble it and stuff. Similar here, someone's done a kind of IKEA Jurassic Park, how to put together a dinosaur with the DNA, extract from the frog to create your dinosaur, and so on and so forth. And then obviously the dinosaur's eating the guy at the end. So, sometimes these things write themselves. And similarly here, this is a illustration by the Belgian illustrator Muscaton, who's done a Nike shoe kind of expanded in the IKEA style. And he's done a Nikea logo as well. So you can see how just by using a framework like this and then pairing it with a graphic style, like trying to do it in an IKEA style way, that would give your idea and your design even more weight, and perhaps even generate more laughs and go further, and people would immediately get the reference and understand the joke and understand what's going on. These designs also, by the way, I think I found this one, maybe this one as well. There was like a series of blog posts on, Illustrator does funny movies in IKEA style or whatever it might be. So the reason I mention that is that these kinds of designs, if you're able to create these and even create a series of such designs, these are great for getting press, for getting people to write about you, to write about your designs, to feature your designs, to mention them in blog posts, to get to get free traffic basically and free eyeballs on them. If you create an idea like this with such kind of strength and originality around it, so that's why I recommend this framework. I think it's a really worthwhile one to work on. Okay. That's the how-to framework. We are racing through these. Lance has a question. Lance, for designs that work well on posters, would you say Redbubble is the best POD? I have had good success with Displate over the past few months. They only do posters, and they do metal posters. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I do sell posters on Redbubble. I'm not sure they're the best. But yeah, between Redbubble, I'd look at Displate. You might want to look at Fine Art America as well. Although I've not had much success there myself, but I think they're worth looking at, and they specialize in posters and wall art. I think Etsy is a great place to sell posters and wall art in general. So if you're not selling on Etsy already, then I think that's a great destination that people kind of gravitate towards for posters and prints and canvas prints and things like that. So and obviously you can use Printful or Printify and hook up with a fulfillment company like that, so that you're not producing the prints. You can do that via Etsy, so you're not handling any prints or anything like that. So yeah, I think Redbubble is decent, but Etsy would probably be, if you was only trying to sell posters instead of posters and loads of other stuff, then I would recommend Etsy as a good starting point. Lance says he only sees tees and mugs there. Oh no, there's loads of posters and prints and canvas prints and all sorts on Etsy. So yeah, I would recommend going that route. Okay, Nikki, you cannot use IKEA style in your tags, I suppose. No, you wouldn't want to use the word IKEA or anything like that. But of course, you can say instruction manual. You could even say Swedish, whatever Swedish furniture company. But obviously, you're not trying to target people around that. That's just that's by the by. That may or may not be worth doing at all. But yeah, the strength of the idea here is, of course, in the idea itself. It's the fact that if you create a design like this, this is going to do well on Instagram. This could do very well on Reddit and Imgur and other kind of user generated sites that spread designs like wildfire. So that's the way to think about an idea like this. You can obviously you're going to use tags, and you're going to try and target organic traffic as well. But that traffic is not going to be looking for IKEA keywords. They're going to be looking for dinosaurs or T-Rex or something like that, or Stonehenge, and you're going to want to get in front of them on that basis rather than the graphic style, which is secondary to the main point of the design and the joke, which is, of course, in this case Stonehenge, or in this case T-Rex, and so on. And Kathleen says there are lots of posters on Etsy. Indeed, there are. Okay. We got one more framework method to share with you, and then we'll take more questions. So let's get through this one. This is the simple text switcheroo. Simple text switcheroo. And this is a really fun, simple one. Bit different from the previous examples, but I'll show you a few examples here. So probably the most famous and the best example of this is this death metal one. So obviously it just says death metal, but it's in a rainbow purple, very cutesy style, and that is the design. There's no extra joke. There's no complicated how-tos. There's nothing going on here besides the writing of a word in a font and in a style and presented in a graphic style, which is about the polar opposite of what you would typically expect to see it in. Similarly, here's another example, Merry Christmas, but in a kind of metal, heavy metal style. And here again, this is one of Hillary White Rabbit's designs. Chaos reigns. So the text and even some of the graphic elements are saying one thing, but the style is completely the opposite. Again, we've got rainbows and butterflies and love hearts and things like that. So this approach of taking a simple phrase and then flipping the interpretation of it or flipping the style of it, juxtaposing it with something that's kind of the opposite, is really straightforward and simple, but it makes for designs and it can make for ideas that really sell well, that people identify with, that people find very funny, and that people share and like and buy. So how can we use this one? Simple text switcheroo. So there's a key difference here with this method with some of the previous methods. This method relies on a phrase, or it relies on the connotations, I should say, of a phrase. But instead of starting with a topic necessarily, what you really need is a phrase. You need a short phrase as well. It shouldn't be too long and drawn out, but you're looking for something pretty tight and succinct. So you're starting with a phrase. So let me give you some examples of what to look for with phrases. These could be things like slogans. So campaigning type slogans, or things you might see at a protest or whatever. Save the whales, eat the rich, anything like that. Succinct, 2-3 word, 4 word phrases, slogans. Those are great for this. Greetings. So for example, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, these kind of things where they have clear connotations. Again, those make for good starting phrases for this method. Slang terms or sayings that are doing the rounds or whatever. So famous ones like okay boomer or yeet or these kind of things. I guess I'm showing my age a little bit, but anything where there's a phrase, could even be a little bit of a lyric or something like that. Just keep your ear to the ground for things like that and just make a note of them. And even if you're not sure off the top of your head how that might pan out into a good idea, even if you just save that note, this is what I do a lot. I hear a phrase or I see a phrase or I see a comment or something on Twitter or YouTube or Instagram, and I just make a note of it just because it's maybe a new phrase or a new thing that I've seen, or I've seen it pop up a few times, and it's just me making a note to go back and check on that and maybe have a brainstorm around it and think if there's anything we could do with that. So yeah, slang terms, good place to look. And even just the term, for example, we saw the death metal one. Death metal is a genre of music. Death metal is not necessarily a phrase, but it's the title of a genre. Again, another one that might work well, like cross stitch or skateboarding. These are hobbies, subjects, topics, but they do have quite strong connotations and a certain kind of what's the word? A kind of niche or market or group that you would, a demographic might be the best way of putting it. If you think of cross stitch, you think of old women, probably. Apologies to anyone who does cross stitch. Or if you think of skateboarding, then you're thinking of young people, young males hanging around skateboarding, rebelling against authority and listening to punk rock music or whatever. So that's what we're looking for. Phrases, even titles, even subjects, even genres, even hobbies, which have associations and connotations. So step 2, once you've got a phrase, once you've got some input like that, you want to identify the connotations of that phrase. So like I just did with skateboarding or cross-stitching, try to list out and think about the connotations. Is it positive or negative? Is it dark? Is it light? Is it silly or serious? These kind of things. So save the whales, what kind of connotations do we get from that? Or eat the rich, what kind of connotations do we get from that? Quite serious, quite, political, quite aggressive. So those kind of things. And then once you've identified some connotations with words like that, dark, light, aggressive, safe, cute, serious, depressed, those kind of words, those are the kind of descriptions you're looking for. And then what you want to do, step 3, is to look for a visual style or an approach that is the exact opposite of what we've just listed. So if we've listed out depressed, then we might look for a style that is happy, or if we've listed out cute, then we might look for a style that is ugly or something like that, or an aggressive or something. Um, so that's the basic approach. That's how you would walk through it. So, for example, if we took a phrase like "save the bees" as our input example, then the connotations with that, off the top of my head, things like nature and organic and outdoorsy. This is what I think of when I hear the phrase "save the bees." And if I did a Google search for "save the bees" T-shirt, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to find. I'm going to find nice hand illustrated sketches of bees and flowers, and it's going to look quite cutesy and organic and nice and natural, and yeah, very very casual kind of approach. So those are the connotations. So how can we flip that? How can we switcheroo it? Well, that would be to come up with some opposites of those kind of connotations. So this would be things like, what's the opposite of nature or natural? Well, it would be something artificial or man-made. Or what's the opposite of outdoors and fresh air and stuff? Well, it might be indoors and technology and tech. What's the word? Yeah, just kind of tech and mechanical and that kind of thing. So the style I came up with off the back of that would be maybe something like an 80s, kind of neon 80s style, something like this. Very neon-y, futuristic, technologically inclined. We could even go a step further here. This is close to kind of what I have in mind, but maybe even something kind of a Terminator style vibe. Really super futuristic and robotic and almost that kind of thing. If you can come up with a style like that people recognize and understand, then that would make a good juxtaposition. So you can imagine here, like a "save the bees" text with a little bee graphic, but we've got these kind of colors and this kind of style going on. That would create a nice juxtaposition. Not saying it's the strongest idea in the world, but that's the general idea of what we want to do. Take a phrase that has one kind of connotation, flip it, and then pull out some graphic that we can place it into, and it's going to create this juxtaposition between the two, and it's going to create the joke, and it's going to be something that people look at and go, "Oh, that's funny," or "That's cool," or it's got a hook, it's got a little joke or a bit of wit about it that means I want to wear it, and I'd feel cool wearing that design. So that's what we're going for, and that's an example there of a simple text switcheroo. So hope that makes sense. I'll just go back to the other examples there just to remind us what the kind of goal and idea is. So yeah, like a death metal flip. And the good thing about this idea is as well, if you spot one of these out in the wild, you can kind of flip it in your head and ask, okay, so this is death metal in a kind of rainbow style. What would be the opposite of this? So that would be to take a phrase that is the opposite of like death metal. So maybe that would be, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a genre of music, but nothing's coming to mind necessarily. But a genre of music that might be very light and family friendly or something like that. And then do that in a heavy metal style. A good example of that is like the Celine Dion metal shirts and that kind of thing. So this kind of vibe. So obviously that juxtaposition between Celine Dion and typical kind of, what would you call that, love song type stuff versus heavy metal, skulls, Satanism, and all that kind of thing. So again, just kind of keep your eye out when you see a phrase. You can kind of start that, but also when you see a design that's playing on this, doing some clear graphic reference, then make a note of that, because that can be a spark that inspires some ideas for you as well. So Richie says, Nike, just do it with a fat guy on the couch or someone sleeping in the bed. Yeah, obviously you would want to stay away from Nike and just do it. But you got the general idea, but obviously those ones would not be safe to do. Sharon says K-pop. Yeah, I don't really know too much about K-pop, but yeah, I mean, one approach is if you're trying to do something, just just Google like here I'm Googling K-pop T-shirt. Don't really know what I'm gonna find. not really seeing much of a clear style here, actually. But yeah, what I was going to say is, take a Google search around what you would typically find. So if we do like search for death metal t-shirts, you know what you're going to find. You're going to find this kind of style. Apart from obviously the simple text switcheroo examples. So yeah, I find Google Images to be a great help for this kind of thing. Just even if it's using descriptors like cute, funny, and things like that, you can just find certain approaches and styles and yeah, even logos and things that really work well. So yeah, searching for the particular thing, and if it's got a connotation, then you can simply ask what's the opposite of that and run with it. Okay, where am I here? Julian, is that Julian? Julian, you always say to avoid using brand names, but if you look at t-shirts on TeePublic, on the first positions you will find Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem, Godzilla vs. Kong Blues. Yeah, I'm not seeing a question, Julian, but I imagine you're asking what's going on with TeePublic. Well, this is the case. This has been the case since time immemorial, that there has been infringement and stuff on TeePublic and Redbubble and on almost every print-on-demand site. So yeah, they will eventually, be taken down. They'll be removed. And if you're trying to get a quick book, it might work for a week or two or something, but you'll find the designs get taken down eventually. So yeah, if you're trying to build a long-term business, however, then you don't want to play around with stuff like that. Hannah, Baby Shark styled a la Marilyn Manson. Yeah, that's the right idea. However, I think Baby Shark is pretty well protected at this point as well. So yeah. Just Bella, I'm now imagining Baroque music with a death metal aesthetic. Exactly. That's the kind of vibe that we're talking about. And that's, I think, perhaps, Bella, that's an example where it is perfectly safe to play around. If you're doing a design around Bach or Mozart or something like that, no one from the Mozart family is coming after you for takedowns or whatever. So you're on safe ground there. So yeah, anything like that, great idea. You could do, Mozart in a heavy metal style or whatever it might be. There's lots of scope for stuff like that and ideas like that. Yeah, so that's the simple text switcheroo. So we did 3, right? We did the Xgang framework, we did the how-to framework, and we did the simple text switcheroo. If you would like to get a few more such methods, I have a ebook, free ebook. If you go to michaelessick.com/live, you can grab a hold of it. Where is it? Where's my banner that I'm looking for? I'm just going to go through them all here for a second. Yeah, michaelessick.com/live. If you go to michaelessick.com/live, you can get this 5 ways to improve your design ideas. And this includes not just a few more extra frameworks and bonus methods, but some general, I shouldn't say general, but more big picture tips and advice that are going to help you improve your ideas as well. So at michaelessick.com/live, you'll find this. You'll find fonts for t-shirts, resources pack as well that I put together. The idea files ebook is in there. There's also a spreadsheet with the latest print-on-demand site data that I've gathered. This is all if you go to michaelessick.com/live and join my free newsletter. You can get that ebook and the rest as well. And oh yeah, before I forget, from next week, I'm going to be opening up the doors to the Ideas Workshop. That's my my kind of flagship course around idea generation, with several major idea methods covered in detail with various tools and stuff. Anyway, I'll be sharing more about that next week. But if you are interested in kind of going deeper on some of these methods, you want to really become an idea generation machine so that you can churn out ideas that really generate sales repeatedly and consistently, then you might be interested in the Ideas Workshop, and you can sign up at michaelessic.com/TIW for the Ideas Workshop. You can join the waitlist there, and you'll be the first to know about some more details when those are arriving. Okay. Drew says Baroque and roll. There you go. Already brainstorming ideas as well. Completely, going off in all kinds of different directions, which is exactly what idea generation is about. So nice one, Drew. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, Ideas Workshop, and I'll leave this one on here. So any questions, I think, before we wrap it up? We've got about 45 minutes, which is a good innings, I think. I will also, I should say, add these slides from this session today on my live resources page. So once you've gone and signed up and joined my weekly newsletter at michaelessic.com/live, you will get kicked to a page with all these resources where you can download them and stuff. So I'm going to go and add this slide session from today, the 3 methods that we talked about today. I'm going to add those as a PDF so you can download those shortly after I finish this live session here. So if you want to get the slides from today, make sure you're signed up there. I'll also email them out tomorrow as well. B&A, related to a recent video, if someone doesn't have an iPad, what's a comparable program to Procreate you'd recommend, and what's a comparable device to do artwork on if not an iPad? I'm not the guy to ask about that, but Brad Colbo on YouTube is. That's BradColbow, I believe. And Brad reviews creative tech like that. I think there's a Microsoft Surface tablet or something that's comparable. I think does Samsung do a tablet as well, an Android tablet that might be decent? But he would definitely be the place to go and check out for devices. I'm only really experienced with Procreate, with Photoshop, with those programs exclusively myself. But yeah, I would recommend going and checking out Brad's videos, and I'm sure he'll have a video like the best drawing tablets right now or something like that. So yeah, go and check that out. Grey Elephant Club, thanks, Michael. Always getting me thinking. No problem. Thank you for joining me. Any other questions? We've got a couple of seconds, couple of minutes here if you want to get in a last minute question before we wrap up. And I'll just repeat, michaelessic.com/live for the free ebook, 5 Ways to Improve Your Design Ideas. And if you are interested in going deeper on this stuff, and what I covered today was like just a few little examples of some frameworks you can use. The Ideas Workshop is really a deep immersion into the world of idea generation and all the different techniques I've developed over the years, along with some tools that make it really quick and really easy to come up with these ideas so that it doesn't take a lot of effort. So if you're interested in the Ideas Workshop, michaelessic.com/TIW. And if you're interested in the 5 Ways to Improve Your Design Ideas ebook, michaelessic.com/live. All right. Thank you, Kathleen. Thanks, B&A. All right. I think we will quit it there today. So thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. I think we seem to have overcome our technical gremlins, so that's good. And I will be in your inboxes tomorrow. And if you want to get the slides from today, make sure you're signed up. Make sure you're signed up at michaelessic.com/live, and then they'll be on there shortly. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Bella. And I'll talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.